Meng Feiqiu takes a moment to consider something he had previously neglected. The demonic assault on the Shenyamen sect resulted in the destruction of many buildings. It must have been challenging for Lin, the sect leader, to secure a room for him. Miss Jian is quite perceptive. He invites Jian to enter the room. Upon noticing the spiritual wood table, she feels indignation as it is meant for crafting magical weapons and is not being utilized to its full potential. Meng invites Jian to share some tea with him and inquires about the topic she wished to discuss. She presents him with a token that, despite its antiquated appearance, shows no signs of aura fluctuations, making it a mundane item. Upon seeing the token, the elder instantly identifies it as the Order of the Union of the Immortals. This object serves as the key to the dungeon, and when he touches it, the dungeon's location is marked on a map. In the meantime, Fenian arrives and shares news of unusual occurrences in the southwest region of the sect. Lin, the sect leader, speculates that these events could signify the unveiling of a hidden realm or the emergence of a spiritual treasure. The elder informs Fen of the dungeon key and the corresponding mark on the map. Grateful for the elder's assistance, Jian uncovers the secret of the Order of the Union of the Immortals and humbly refrains from taking credit for it. The elder, as usual, never fails to inspire awe in those around him. Fei believes the ambience isn't quite suitable for enjoying tea. Meng expresses gratitude to Jian for the confidence placed in him and proposes to accompany Fei into the mystical domain. All parties consent to this arrangement. This enables the elder to discreetly monitor their actions. Should any situation arise, his unforeseen presence will surely catch them off guard. Jian and Fei deduce that Meng would keep a watchful eye on them regardless. The elder departs, allowing the girls to savor their tea as he sets out to create a map. With the initial taste, the tea infuses the girls with a spiritual vigor that immediately sharpens their minds. Simultaneously, Master Zhu assesses the spell for its appropriateness. Yi Gufeng approaches and greets them. Recognized as an array pavilion prodigy in his youth, Yi Gufeng joined the Xingai sect, a bright future laid before him. Yi Gufeng inquires if Master Zhu is responsible for crafting the mountain's protective formation. Zhu confirms, acknowledging Elder's assistance. Yi Gufeng suggests that by participating in the mid-rank spell formation's creation, Master Zhu must have advanced his cultivation. Coincidentally, Yi Gufeng has been grappling with a new spell, struggling to comprehend it, and hopes to seek Master Zhu's guidance. Zhu wonders if Yi Gufeng's intention is to embarrass him as part of a secret cult. Concurrently, Yi Gufeng etches a spell onto the grass, requesting Zhu's assistance while examining his abilities. Guan approaches and utters, "Module." In that instant, Zhu grasps everything, for through the teachings of the elder, he perceives the formation from an entirely different perspective. Yi Gufeng attempts to erase the formation, but Zhu intervenes, stating he has a few rudimentary ideas to contribute. In the meantime, Jian and Fei descend the stairs. From a distance, they spot Zhu and observe the unfolding events. Engrossed in the runes, Yi Gufeng has decided to enhance the spell but intentionally left it incomplete. It needs 8 additional runes and 4 improvements. However, Zhu altered the position of 4 runes and even erased 1. Yi Gufeng is astonished at the clarity Master Zhu's mind has achieved over the years, though the drawn spell has yet to produce the intended effect. An assistant arrives, delivering the plant ash Master Zhu requested. Zhu incorporates the ash into the spell, and it succeeds. Yi Gufeng is astounded, as the outcome surpasses his enhanced version. Plant ash possesses fire and earth properties, with a minor residual attribute of wood. This not only harmonizes the array's overall properties, but also reduces material costs. Guan admits she initially intended to shift 5 runes and add 2 more but hadn't anticipated Master Zhu's modifications to be more concise. Yi Gufeng is left doubly shocked by what he has witnessed. Regrettably, Master Yi initially aimed to provoke but has learned his lesson, as the Shenyamen sect, teeming with hidden dragons and tigers, should never be underestimated. Observing the scene, Jian advises Yi to remain silent. Meng believes that Jian is the chief disciple, while Yi Gufeng held that position during his tenure. The elder recommends that Jian stay within the sect to recuperate, so he can proceed to the dungeon the following day. Yi Gufeng is bewildered, disliking the idea that the Xingyu sect should revere a demonic beast. Jian requests silence, asserting that the elder is beyond their comprehension. Jian retreats to his room for cultivation. After consuming 2 cups of tea, the spiritual Kai stored in his dantian has reached capacity. It seems as though his divine consciousness has refined, significantly enhancing concentration and perception. At that moment, a spiritual breakthrough emanates from Jian's room. The following day, Jian expresses gratitude to the elder and his friends for the care they provided during the past few days. The elder insists that no thanks are needed, but instead invites Jian to join him for tea on the mountain after the secret realm adventure. The tea the elder offers is abundant in spiritual energy, a rare opportunity difficult to find elsewhere. Only someone with an inconceivable level of cultivation like the elder can freely savor this tea without consequence. If she were to indulge and consume 2 more cups, the repercussions could be severe. Meng informs Feng that he will leave her be, but if any trouble arises, she should contact him directly. The scene transitions to Qizhu Mountain, home of the Lionian sect. Other sect members are also on the hunt for the elusive secret realm. One such individual is Master Zhang Ju from the Liangyan Qizhu sect. Concurrently, the secret realm's location is discovered, yet its whereabouts remain unknown. A delay of several days attracts practitioners from more distant sects. The Wang Jianan sect, a formidable 5th-grade sect, makes its presence known. An unidentified monk emerges from the foliage, and a confrontation unfolds. The monk claims that the sect members will prove useful, as these minions will aid in locating the secret realm's entrance. The competition intensifies. One of the sects considers withdrawing to avoid the escalating conflict, but the monk thwarts their escape, obstructing the path with a fiery breath. A sect member calls out to Brother Tan, reporting that he spotted 2 men and 2 women, seemingly young disciples from an unidentified school. In their possession is a map. The search party sets off to find the mysterious quartet. Jian remarks that the elder mentioned the Union of Immortals ruins were secret realms left behind by powerful entities from the past. He wonders what treasures they might uncover. At this point, the other sect members arrive and encircle our protagonists. An unfamiliar monk confronts them, requesting to borrow their map. They continue on their path, ignoring the monk's command to halt. One of the heroines challenges if there are any courageous individuals truly willing to oppose the Xinyu sect and the Shenyumen sect. The crowd is perplexed, as the Shenyumen sect is unknown to them. At this moment, fellow Taoists rush in, imploring Jian to allow them to accompany the group to witness the secret realm. Jian grants their request, and as a result, the majority of the sect members embark on the journey with our heroes. From a distance, the elder observes their progress. He has mastered the ability to fly through the Qiankai form. The heroes discover a dungeon and, heeding the elder's guidance, place a token on the stone doors. The doors swing open. Standing at the dungeon's entrance, our heroes pause. Jian urges everyone to step back 10 paces, sensing an impending danger. A luminous burst of energy shoots out from the cave. It turns out to be a fearsome sword Kai, and had Jian not issued the warning, the entire group would have perished. The spiritual tea provided by the elder not only facilitated her breakthrough but also heightened her spiritual awareness. This suggests that the elder recognized her initial inability to enter the secret realm. Although the elder maintained a calm facade, he was, in reality, discreetly assisting her. Jian and Bu offer a bow in the direction of the Shenyumen sect. The sword Kai was incredibly potent, suggesting that it could be a barrier protecting the secret realm's entrance. An enigmatic master emerges, Luo Quan, a sword practitioner from the Qingyuan Zi sect. Originally, he trained for a century, but his cultivation advanced sluggishly. Fortuitously, he acquired 2 swords, Qingyuan and Zi, which propelled him into becoming a formidable force in the cultivation world. The Wang Jianan sect once invited him to join as an elder, but he declined. Now, he has arrived in pursuit of the secret realm. Although Luo Quan cannot directly challenge the Xinyu sect, if a few people perish within the secret realm, no one would be the wiser. As the sect members approach the cave, the sword Kai bursts forth once again. Luo Quan intercepts the energy path using his swords. As our heroes venture deeper into the dungeon, the challenges intensify. The sword Kai emanating from the stalagmites feels like a duel with an exceptional sword practitioner. Staying united is crucial. Sadly, the skills of some sect members are subpar, preventing them from capitalizing on this opportunity. Luo Quan arrives with other sect members, proposing to add some excitement. A skirmish ensues between Luo, Jian, and Bu. Our heroines defend themselves tenaciously, and Jian realizes that the old man aims to use the sword formation to eliminate them. The Taoists come to their aid, asserting that the alliance leader has repeatedly helped them despite past conflicts. They refuse to let him down, even if it costs them their lives. One of the sect members mocks them but receives a direct sword strike. Taoist is astonished, as he was not controlling the sword, an unseen force pressed on the hilt, leaving it beyond his control. The formidable power of the dungeon aids our heroes in striking down their adversaries with their swords. A creature resembling a lion and a saber-toothed tiger materializes, cloaked in a mysterious guise. Lo, the ferocious Kai, his sword now missing, takes Quan aback. The fact that someone could steal his sword without him noticing implies that they are much stronger than him. He had been careless and needs to flee the area. Bully to the weak, coward to the strong was the moniker assigned to Lo by his peers. With weak cultivation in his youth and countless disdainful glances, his luck changed dramatically in his later years, warping his character. He relished taking from the weak, and every robbery he committed ended with the victim's death. Lo inquires if Meng is the elder of the group. Meng confirms this, but as Lo hurls an explosive talisman, Meng deflects it effortlessly with a wave of his hand. The blast sends Lo crashing into the rocks. After days of tea consumption, the elder's cultivation has improved. The explosive talisman is known as the Amulet of Shade Care. Junior suddenly appears, taken hostage by Lo. Lo warns Junior not to tremble, or his sword might accidentally slash his neck. Junior retorts that it's not him shaking, but the sword itself. Utilizing the power of the Z sword, the elder repels Lo. The elder then addresses the young man, revealing that he is the master of this realm, and the 2 swords resemble his former style. If the youth agrees to revere the elder as a mentor, he will teach him the knowledge he has amassed throughout his life. The young man's name is Zhou Xingjian, possessing a natural sword body as his passive skill. He is among the candidates seeking to join the elder's team. The members of the Wang Jianan sect were easily defeated. The sect leader managed to break through the sword formation, seemingly with the hidden assistance of the elder. Since the elder did not reveal himself, it appears he didn't want to be discovered, and it's best not to upset him by exposing his involvement. Brother Yi acknowledges his sister's abilities, but admits she is clearly outmatched by Bu, who has made significant progress as his master Zhu. At this moment, Zhou Xingjian appears, demanding to know who dares to intrude on his domain. Everyone assumes he is the guardian of the realm. Zhou Xingjian states that since they have made it this far into the dungeon, they must possess certain capabilities. He now wants to personally test their strength. A battle commences, with Zhou Xingjian's swordsmanship identical to the previous level, but with several times more power. Could this be the might of the forebear of the sword cultivators? The enhanced sword technique and more than doubled power exemplify the strength of the elder. Meanwhile, the elder has returned to the sect. The main quest is displayed, revealing that the elder has successfully gathered 3 and 4 men into his team. During a conversation between the elder and Zhou Xingjian, it is revealed that Zhou Xingjian had no special abilities in his past life but possessed a rare natural sword body. After decades of wandering, he discovered that sword training was the most suitable path for him. Unfortunately, he realized this too late. Zhou Xingjian had to resort to using burial with the sword for the rest of his life, hoping to find life again. Zhou Xingjian is a time-limited character gacha in the game. The elder spent a considerable amount of money trying to obtain him but never succeeded, which almost led him to quit the game. However, there was no mention in the official announcement that Zhou Xingjian was the owner of the secret realm of the Order of the Immortals. Thus, the elder was surprised to find him in the dungeon. Meng, being much older than Zhou, states he has come to train the younger generation and to recruit Zhou into his sect. Zhou questions what he can be taught, and the elder asks him to demonstrate his sword techniques. Following the conversation, the shackles are discovered, and a bonding item, the sword, appears. The main quest will be completed once communication with Jian is established. Meng advises Zhou to meet the heroes and engage in friendly sparring, as they have come to the dungeon for training. In his room, Meng feels relieved that Zhou is with the heroes and believes they will be well looked after. The bond is described as the hidden sword in the heart. Additionally, the elder has acquired 2 of Lo Kuan's swords. In the past, the Shenouman sect was impoverished, with a treasure pavilion that contained no treasures. The pavilion was destroyed during a demon invasion, and due to the difficulty of repair, the work was never started. The Shenouman sect, a 9th-rank sect, is situated in an area with poor spiritual energy. Higher-ranking sects possess resources such as spiritual plants, pills, animals, mines, formations, and weapons, but the current Shenouman lack these advantages. To improve their situation, the elder must be assisted in accelerating the sect's development. Master Zhu, after joining the Shenouman sect, did not anticipate the poor conditions of the sect. The courtyard where Elder Meng lives is only at the level of an outer elder of a larger sect, an environment unworthy of Elder Meng. However, first-class houses are costly and can only be built by experts. As the elder ponders how to improve the sect, a notice arrives stating that Jian has completed the Union of Immortals assignment. Senior appears to be suddenly faced with a problem, but a new feature is unlocked. Many unexplored areas surround the Shenouman sect, so Elder suggests that Zhu and Ling take a walk and explore. Meanwhile, our heroes, along with Zhou, return from the dungeon. The group is surprised that Zhou has decided to join their sect. Zhou presents them with the treasure from the Secret Kingdom, 2 scrolls containing profound sword intent that even Zhou cannot fully comprehend. Bu and Jian discuss the possibility of someone lurking in the shadows, trying to discover the sect's activities. Ordinary people are always tempted by treasure, and the small Shenouman sect may struggle to protect such valuable items. The elder asks Bu and Zhou to visit the hidden sword peak to the east of the main sect's peak, where he wants to show them something. He also encourages the rest of the sect members to try their luck in the dungeon again, as he now has access to the dungeon editor feature. Daeon tries to enter the cave, but his level prevents him from progressing. He has returned to the beginning of the cave. The elder discusses a future cultural tourism project for the Shenouman sect, the Secret Hall of Real Experience. Due to the sect's limited natural resources, it's difficult to obtain large quantities in a short period of time. However, with the new dungeon editor feature, the elder can replicate previously explored secret realms. For other sects, Hidden Sword Peak will serve as a training and testing ground for students who can purchase tickets to access the secret realm safely. Jian asks the elder to return to his sect and discuss the location of the Hidden Sword Cave. As expected, the elder's influence is beginning to have an impact. Zhou inquires whether there is any treasure in their dungeon, but the elder explains that the cave is only for self-realization. Suddenly, an explosion occurs. Master Zhu reports that an intruder got too close and triggered the protective spell guarding the mountain. However, now that the Shenouman sect is prepared to open for business, there is no need to turn away customers. In the future, they will inevitably attract a diverse range of visitors. The elder demonstrates the power of the sword, and he realizes that the sword technique is superior to the scrolls and he doesn't actually need them. In the following chapter, the story unveils the rapid rise of the Shenouman sect. Boasting excellent teaching facilities and skilled instructors, this once insignificant 9th-tier sect is now experiencing remarkable growth. Within his own sect, Jian delivers a report on the Shenyumen sect. The leader of Jian's sect is puzzled as to why the elder chose to support such a minor sect in a remote location. Jian explains that Meng has a long-standing connection with the Shenyumen sect, and the local sects struggle to fend off demonic attacks. If the elder abandons them, it would lead to a tragic outcome. Regardless of Meng's past, he is committed to protecting those on the other side. Uncle Lai concurs with Jian and announces that he will oversee the students' training at the Hidden Sword Cave. In the meantime, he will pen a letter to the elder and gather gifts for him. Uncle Lai calls upon Yi Gufeng and inquires about the demonic beast. He reveals that the creature often spends time alone with Jian. Uncle Lai then asks Yi to keep a watchful eye on Jian. Simultaneously, the elder observes Guanlin's training progress. Guanlin is hardworking but has become the primary target due to the demon seed within him. Jian eventually returns to Shenyumen, bearing gifts. He has also prepared a special gift for the elder, a stone containing the demon seed. Jian shares that the stone once belonged to her mother and appears to possess peculiar abilities. Consequently, she decides to present it to the senior. Senior remembers that the game's Xingyu sect was sealed precisely due to the stone, as it was believed to tamper with practitioners' minds, gradually demonizing them. However, there was no information about the stone's origin or Jian's existence. Could it be that Jian was demonized by this stone and then covertly eliminated by her own sect? The subject of their bond is unveiled. The elder explains that within this crystal lies the key to Jian's future connection. Unexpectedly, the bond with Jian is successfully established, unlocking a new feature, the task exchange system. The task points earned can be exchanged for corresponding treasure chests, which, when opened, randomly bestow various rewards. The crystal's demon seed has been converted into 2,000 task points. Man opts to open 10 chests consecutively. Among all the useful items, a high-level wave energy book is obtained. The elder opens the book and acquires the Law of Divine Farming, which enhances life skills and planting abilities. However, the elder is not pleased, as the region's spiritual energy concentration is too low for anything substantial to grow. The elder summons Guanling and extracts the demon seed from him, claiming it for himself. Dissolving the seed grants him an additional 2,000 points, but it is still not enough. A sect in honor of a demonic beast is preparing a banquet. However, chaos erupts when one of the sect members announces that trouble has struck. 2 refugees with demon seeds in their bodies have suddenly become demonized and broken the protective spell. Master Yi arrives just in time, slaying the demon with a swift sword stroke. Curiosity arises as to why so many refugees have gathered in the city. One refugee explains that numerous villages and towns are defenseless against the recent surge of demon attacks. The city is the safest place in the area, thanks to the Array Pavilion. Some refugees have encountered demons, and several now carry the demon seed within them. The pavilion was initially intended as a means of isolation. The refugees are then confronted by the townspeople. Brother Yi decides to bring the refugees to the Shenyumen sect. Jian is displeased by this development, as the action was not coordinated with the sect. Brother Yi has considered the potential consequences. If the sect refuses to accept these people, it would be scorned by the entire world. On the other hand, if the sect agrees to shelter them, the potential demon seeds could create significant problems. The elder intervenes, declaring that he will accept all refugees who harbor a demon seed inside them. The sect members instruct the refugees to line up for registration. Brother Yi is skeptical of Main's actions, suspecting him of having ulterior motives. Jian is displeased by these suspicions. A refugee woman approaches Yi to inquire about her daughter's whereabouts. He is unsure but suggests seeking information from the demonic beast. Ultimately, the daughter is located. Named Zio, she tells her mother that the mountain elder assisted them in eliminating the demon seed. In the meantime, the elder resumes opening the chests. The refugees lack high-quality seeds like guans, resulting in a deduction of 1,000 points each. Nonetheless, there are sufficient points for 24 chests. After opening them, no items are found that are good enough for Meng, but an achievement is unlocked called such as the Cruel Will of Heaven. As a reward, a random high-skill level book is obtained. Meng opens the book and acquires the secret technique of the Celestials, a cultivation method for reaching the immortal class. The elder gathers the leaders around a table and presents them with 2 books, the Law of Divine Farming, which focuses on cultivating spiritual plants, and the secret technique of the Heavenly Lights, a confidential cultivation method. Addressing Elder Lin, the elder remarks that his time is nearing its end. Elder Lin expresses his desire to see the sect prosper, but laments that he will not have the opportunity. Meng explains that the immortal class technique depends on the power of the stars and the moon for cultivation. If Lin trains diligently, he can break through his impasse. Such a technique is typically only found in first or second class sects. As a system, there is no need for Lin to practice it, as it will automatically be added to the editor when his character commences training. 5 days later, all the refugees have settled in the Zunquin settlement. When demons attacked, everyone fled the village, and now all the refugees reside there. Sect disciples are stationed in the village to protect the settlers, and a protective spell has been cast around the village. Brother Yi informs Jian that everyone has completed their training and it is time to return to their sect. Jian responds that she will remain in Shenyumen for a while. Brother Yi disapproves, questioning how she can behave on the same level as ordinary mortals. Jian is unhappy with his remark and retorts that Elder Meng sees no distinction between mortals and immortals, and if the people of the Shenyamen sect can manage it, so can she. Guan Yu approaches Jian for assistance when suddenly, the formation activates. Guan disrupts the spell with a swift movement of his foot. Jian instructs Brother Yi to return to his sect and warns him that she will ask the Shenyamen sect to ban him from re-entry. Furious, Brother Yi steps on the spell formation and gets electrocuted. This particular formation was a simplified version of Yuanlei's 9 formation transformations, but practical tasks remain necessary. The Elder inquires if Zhu has published the assignments he assigned to them. Zhu responds that Elder Lin has offered a reward to anyone who can provide information on the new order of the Union of Immortals. At this moment, one of the sect members brings young Xiao to the Elder. Xiao reveals that she possesses a token that might be what they are seeking. The Elder expresses gratitude, as the token belongs to the Order of the Immortals. A new mission emerges in the Snowbone Mountains. The Elder must pursue them in order to replicate the dungeon. As compensation, Xiao asks the Elder to locate her father's remains and ensure they are properly buried. Meng remembers that in the Snowbone Mountains, the leader was a small demon fox. Upon completing the level, a female amulet and a secret book would be awarded. This time, he decides to take 3 girls with him. Lin considers the Elder's room too cramped and resolves to change it as soon as possible. Before leaving, the benefactor inquires if they have gained anything from their recent practice. Everyone admits that they are progressing too slowly. Bu's talent only manifests during actual combat, while Zhao has a unique talent, slow in everything except swordsmanship. Meng asks the elders about their concerns, and they respond that they are still trying to understand him. They drink tea to alleviate the awkwardness and absorb spiritual energy. By practicing the secret celestial technique continuously, they have managed to break free from their stagnation. Utilizing tea as an aid, they achieve a breakthrough, which proves to be the most effective method for practicing the high-level technique. Meanwhile, Brother Yi is in the higher union. Meng informs him that the elders have had a breakthrough and are now prepared. Guanling excitedly shares his discovery. Mixing spiritual animal manure with soil and watering it with magic can transform it into spiritual soil within 10 years. They need to find the dung of a spiritual animal, and the demonic beast happens to be a type of spiritual animal. Meng praises Guan and promises to search for a pair of spiritual animals for him, which can be found in the Snowbone Mountains. Snowbone Mountain presents a challenging environment, teeming with numerous demonic beasts. To overcome the difficulties and trials, everyone must utilize their full abilities. The mountain wind proves to be so intense that whole-body cultivation is necessary to withstand it. Fortunately, Elder had prompted Guan Yu to place spells on her clothes beforehand. However, the magical array depletes rapidly, requiring her to stop and recharge it periodically. This situation is unusual and unlike the game. The group spots a cave and decides to enter for a brief respite. According to the game's settings, demonic monsters should occasionally attack uninvited guests once they climb the mountain, but their journey has been surprisingly peaceful. Inside the cave, they encounter demonized bears. Bu launches an attack, but the Elder realizes that the demonic beasts are not weak. What has happened to Snowbone Mountain? Meng discovers a demon fox sleeping behind a block of ice, curled up in a ball. Meanwhile, Bu slays the demon beasts by decapitating them. While resting and recovering, the cultivation speed proves astonishing. The demon fox awakens and is puzzled by their presence. The fox has lost something that is now in the Elder's possession. In exchange, the Elder asks the fox to explain what occurred on Snowbone Mountain. It is revealed that General Bear, who resided in the Snow Dragon Valley territory, has defected to the side of the demons. He led his troops to the mountain, attempting to usurp the throne and seize power. The young mistress managed to escape the main hall through a secret passage, accompanied by her loyal soldiers. One of his subordinates that everyone fled hastily informs General Bear. He orders a thorough search of the entire mountain to find the Bio Fragment. The Bio Fragment is an ancient secret of the Fox Demon clan, preserved by their previous masters. The chief of the Fox clan distributes 5 fragments among the foxes, with only one being the genuine fragment. This means that the others must draw attention away from themselves, while the holder of the real fragment must protect it at all costs and deliver it to the mistress. Returning to the main characters, the fox tells the Elder that he wants to leave the mountain. Someone discovers them. Elder says that the fox holds a fake Bio fragment, deduced from his tech editor skill. At this point, Elder King, the Elder of the Fox Demons, tries to locate the cave but is interrupted by General Bear and his soldiers. While attempting to escape, Elder King is struck by a bear. The bear interrogates the fox, asking if the ancient ancestor's inner core is hidden in the cave. After all, obtaining it would grant access to the lineage of ancient monsters, allowing perfection according to the Bio fragment. General Bear learned about this by having one of his spies follow the fox.